Saners, welcome to Saints TV. It's good to be back. 2021 is off and running. This is a review of yesterday's practice match against North Melbourne at Arden Street. I got to watch the replay last night in full. I was working at the time, so it was good to sit down last night and just watch the performance. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, let me know and I'll flick you a link to the highlights and to the full match. I know some people haven't been able to get hold of watching it yet, so let me know and I'll happily provide those links to you. But yeah, this is just a quick video on my thoughts of the game. It was 140 to 49. It was a 91-point win. It was a four-quarter performance. It was dominant from start to finish. There was a lot to like, nothing to dislike. So let's talk about it. So pretty much from the outset, we were the team in control. I mean, the main highlight for me, and probably for a lot of people, was Mason Wood kicking 4 goals against his old team. You know, we got him and there were some question marks over him. Some people, including me, were like, do we really need him? Is he really going to be a player that's going to be serviceable at any point in this season for us other than at Sandringham? You know, there were a lot of comments that were agreeing with me. But based on yesterday's performance, he is going to be very handy in that forward line. You know, he is a big boy. He's clearly a fairly good set shot. He kicked, I think, 4 straight yesterday. A couple of them were decent kicks, and you know, he just didn't look like missing. And when you look at the forward line that we had yesterday, we had Battle kicking 3, Membry kicking 2, King kicking 2, Mason Wood kicking 4. There is a lot of depth, a lot of variety there, and that's not even including the likes of Gresham, who didn't play, Butler, who kicked 1, and Higgins, who bobbed up with a couple of goals as well, and Loney. So our forward line's in very good hands. But in terms of the overall performance, there was no negatives. You know, it was just what we needed to do. It was the perfect practice match for us going into next week against Carlton. We didn't want to get any injuries. We didn't. There was Bytel, I think, with a dislocated finger, but he's totally fine. And he was a highlight as well. That goal, that first goal that he kicked, where he's just run straight through traffic going the other way, gets it, composes himself, and dribbles it along the deck as his first goal. And then I think he kicks a second one after that. You know, he's going to be a very, very handy player for us going into 2021 with our midfield rotations. And then, you know, that's with Brad Crouch, who his hands yesterday. You know, there was so many instances in that the first quarter. If you just watch the replay, you'll know what I'm talking about, where the ball is just bouncing around. There's just a congestion. No one can get a clean hand, and he can just get it and bang, he's out. You know, he's going to do a lot of that this year, and it's going to go unnoticed. But I guarantee you're looking at the stat sheets after every game, it'll be Brad Crouch, 24 disposals. Brad Crouch, 25 disposals with 14 handballs. And you'll be like, I didn't notice him that much. And then you look at his score involvements, and it'll say, Brad Crouch, 10 score involvements, 3 for direct goals. You know, he's going to have that sort of influence on games. You're not going to notice him, but he's going to be massive. You know, he's the sort of player that you don't really notice him when he's there because he's just doing what he does best, which is inside work, getting the ball out to our runners in Brad Hill, in Jade Gresham, Jack Billings running by, even Jack Steele, who won't have to do a lot of that inside grunt work this season because he's got support from Brad Crouch. But you will notice him when he's not there. So I'm curious to see how we go in rounds 1 and 2 when he's got his suspension. Who can fill that role, whether it's a Dunstan or even a Bytel that can prove that he can do that. You know, in terms of other highlights, I thought Highmore was good. He came on, I think, in the second half and took a few intercept marks, and that's what his go is. So he's put his hand up to play in the back line in round 1, particularly because we've got Ben Patton missing, and that obviously shuffles a few things around. So Cal Wilkie potentially could play that Ben Patton role. Caulfield could be you know, another tall, medium-sized intercept mark, and then Highmore can take that Caulfield role and free Caulfield up even more. So that'll be interesting to see what we do. But in terms of the overall performance yesterday, it was perfect. You know, the way we moved the ball was fast, it was clean, it was slick. I thought we were more aggressive with our ball movement, particularly when a player marked the ball. We always had someone running past, and that someone was 9 times out of 10 Brad Hill, and that's exciting for us. You know, last year was a bit of an up and down year for Brad Hill, but based on yesterday's performance, he's going to get a lot of handball receives. He's going to be going for those non-stop. And with that new rule where the player on the mark can't really move, it makes it even easier for him to get near the guy with the ball and just get an easy handball and run off. And that's what he did yesterday, for the majority of the game. And with a guy that can dispose of the ball as cleanly as him, he's going to be setting up a lot of attacking movements, and he's going to be setting up a lot of goals for us. So that's exciting for us. Jack Steele just did what he does best, had a really good performance. King took some good marks, did a few nice things at ground level, and that's what you want from Max King. You just don't want any injuries right now. And I think he got a bit of a bump late in the game, and then he came back on. I thought, geez, why are we bringing him back on? But it just shows that we didn't treat yesterday as just a practice game. We've only got 2 games, now only 1 until round 1. So there's not a lot of time to get players match fit. And, even my partner was asking, why do they play practice matches? What's the key to that? And it's match fitness, and it's catching up with the speed of the game. And even if we played an undermanned North Melbourne who were expected to finish bottom this year yesterday, it doesn't matter because the match speed is the match speed. You can't simulate that any other way. And next week against a team like Carlton, when they've got Williams and they've got Saad running out of the back half, they're a fast team. So that's going to be an even bigger challenge for us. And that's what I love about our pre-season is that we've trained hard, everyone's trained well. Players like Jack Sinclair have notably gone to the next level. He was great yesterday. He offers that outside run, but he connects back half to forward half better than anyone in our team. He's one of the best kicks in our team. And if he can get more of the pill, which has always been the question mark over his head, can he get it more than 15 times a week consistently? If he does that, geez, our midfield goes to the next level. It's guys like him, it's guys like Billings and Brad Hill that can team up with and accommodate Brad Crouch, Jack Steele, Jade Gresham. Zach Jones will come back in. Dan Hanbury didn't play yesterday as well with those guys. We're laughing with the amount of depth that we've got. And Membry just did what he had to do. He had some good moments. Jack Higgins, this guy's going to be fun to watch this year, guys. He is going to be fun. That first quarter, just watch that. He's kicked 2 goals, and he's Gresh 2.0, but he's just got, he's got some arrogance about him, but he's just a big mid in a small guy's body. He caters to the small guy in him when he goes forward, but when he's in the middle, he plays like a big mid. There were so many times where, similar to Brad Crouch, he does something special in tight. For Brad Crouch, it's getting the quick hands out. For Jack Higgins, it's getting the ball and it just being an absolute rocket out of traffic and going forward. He's a bowling ball going through pins. That's what he reminds me of. It doesn't matter who's in front of him, if they're big or small, whatever, or they're ruckmans. He just goes straight through them. He's got one focus, and it is to get that damn ball forward. And I love that. That's that Richmond mentality, like Dan Butler. It's just go. And the fact that we've got him now with Gresham, with Butler, they can all rotate mid, forward, wing, whatever you want. It's a great problem to have for Ratton and our coaching team. And it's a credit to our recruiting team, to get players like Mason, Wood, to get the Dan Butlers, the Jack Higgins, James Frawley, we're in the number 24. That's, obviously symbolic to what his great uncle wore at the club when he started. And he was great yesterday. He did some really nice things that kind of made me think, geez, he's not here just making up the numbers. He could be a consistent player in our backline. He could be that support for Dougal Howard. Jake Carlisle's not going to be a walk-up. And then you've got McKernan. You've got a number of players that can play multiple roles like ruck, forward, mid. And I love that about our squad. Our squad to me has got the best depth in the competition, but it's also got some of the best flexibility in terms of where players can play. A lot of our mids can play forward. A lot of our forwards can play mid. A lot of our backs can play forward. Our forwards can play ruck if they need to. So when a player goes down like Ben Patton, when we lose Jaron Geary, we've lost Zach Jones for this game, we won't get Rowan Marshall back until maybe round 3 or 4. It doesn't matter because we can cover them better than any other team. And that's something, when you look at teams like the St Kilda teams of 09 and 10, we had great top tier, genuine A-grade superstar level top tier. But our bottom 6 to 10 players, suspect. I'm not going to name names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. And you feel like if they were maybe 5-10% better players, we win a flag or two in that period. But when you look at our team now, we don't have that absolute A-grade level yet. We've got players that can get there. We've got Max King, Hunter Clark, Nick Caulfield, Jack Steele, Jade Gresham, Dan Butler, just to name a few. They can get to that level. But if you look at our bottom 10 players are genuine AFL standard players. They're players that have either played at another team and done a good job like Mason Wood, but has just been a bit inconsistent, but can put it all together and have plenty of time to do so. Or they've had big games for our club already and they're just struggling to get in the team because of the depth that we've got. Simple as that. And you look at players like Luke Dunstan. He can come in and be a hard mid for us and is capable of getting over 20 possessions. You've got Jimmy Webster, who I thought did a great job yesterday. He played that Ben Patton role, but was very attacking. You know, he was high up on the wing at times. And with a player with a left foot like him, very damaging left foot, you want him high up at times because he can deliver inside 50. And there was a passage where he kicked it to Max King on the lead. And you're like, mate, that's what I want to see all season. Imagine Jimmy Webster, you know, turning his game not only into that defensive back pocket role, but also turning it into an offensive role and setting us up. You know, Ben Patton was great because he would stop his man, you know, non-negotiable. He was just the Mr. Consistent, Mr. Accountable, whatever you want to label him as. But Jimmy Webster, he can do that, but I feel like he's got more attacking assets than Patto. You know, he can go forward, he can kick a goal, he can set up goals. He's got a bit of run on him. So, you know, we've got players that can cover any position, and that's just super exciting to see. And I know I'm going to say that all season. That's super exciting. That's amazing. That's phenomenal. The classic little words that I like to use. I think last year I said phenomenal at least 700 times in my videos. I counted that. So hopefully I'll tone it down this year and use some more flexible terminology. Get the dictionary out and look it up. But yeah, yesterday's performance was just what it needed to be. No injuries, 91-point win. It was great to kick straight again. 22 goals, 8. North kicked inaccurately, and yes, they were missing some players in their midfield, which I've read a lot of their supporters said, well, we're missing this person, missing that person. We traded this person, whatever. But we were missing a lot of good players as well. We're missing Rowan Marshall, Jade Gresham, Zach Jones, Dan Hanbury, Jaron Geary, just to name a few. Jake Carlisle didn't play. Genuine flexibility there when those players come in. It's going to be a headache for our coaches, but a very good headache to see who they pick next week. And some people think we'll rest a bunch and just prep ourselves for round one, but I think we'll use next week as a genuine curtain raiser. We're back at Marvel. We didn't play at Marvel a lot last season as it is, and we haven't played there for basically a year. So it's perfect opportunity for us against an up-and-coming team like Carlton to field a strong team and see how we go on our home deck in front of a crowd. That's going to be interesting because we haven't played in front of a crowd since the final last year, and this will be the biggest crowd we've played in front of since probably 2019. You'd have to think, you know, it's 50% capacity they're allowing next week, and that means, you know, roughly 28,000 tickets to be sold. So if we can get over 20,000 next week, Thursday night, that's going to be great. Just to be at the footy, just to be amongst fans again, to see some of these new boys. I haven't seen Dan Butler play live. I haven't seen Brad Hill play live. I haven't seen Max King play live. Because of COVID, because of different circumstances, we just haven't been able to support them in the flesh. So I can't wait to go next week. Hopefully you guys will be there as well, supporting the boys. And I'll get to say hi to you and we can support a win. Because, you know, obviously you want to just win every game, but you want to be winning games late in the season. But I think just as general momentum for us, we just want to win and win well and just build that belief. Because right now you can feel like the club kind of knows they're going to do something or they're capable of doing something, but they just want to maintain that consistency. And we saw last year, we played North, we copped up a big lead, we lost that game. We did the same against Melbourne. We did the same against bloody Fremantle. That cost us, you know, those 3 losses cost us top 4 potentially. And what I loved about yesterday wasn't really the scoreline. It was just that we played consistently for the 4 quarters, and that got us the scoreline that eventuated that 140 to 49 wins. So if we can maintain that consistency for 20 of 22 weeks this year, top 4 is on the cards, and being a genuine contender for the flag is on the cards. So I know I didn't really go into much detail on yesterday. I didn't really want to, because it is a practice game. It's hard to judge, where we're at and where North's at and everything, but I think we'll have a better gauge on next week. But for me, the main positive, I don't know why I said it that way. The main positive for me was the 4-quarter performance. The fact that we didn't let North come into the game at any point. We didn't let them have a sniff, and, it would have been, no one would have cared if we slowed down a little bit, because it's a practice game and it's North. But I think it shows where the club's at, that we really just want to put the foot to the floor and we want to go for every game that we play and just dominate the opposition. And I love that. So that to me was the main positive. Let me know what your main positive was in the comments, and I'll respond when I can. Again, not a great detailed review, but I think it's just good to ease into the season. Next week, I'll be doing a preview on the Carlton game. We'll go into detail then on them and where we're at and how we match up on them when the teams come out. And then obviously we'll go back into the Saints TV routine of live reviews right after the game. I cannot wait to do that. The Facebook page is back. As you guys know, there was a Facebook news ban last week, and for the last 8 days, Saints TV has been down because of it, but we're back now, and I can't wait to hop on Facebook and get your comments live as we talk about hopefully a lot of wins. And that's the best part of this season, is we're going in with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of excitement, and it's just the best time to be a Saints supporter right now. And if you're not a member, bloody sign up. Let's get to 50,000 members and fill Marvel Stadium every week when we play there. But until then, guys, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate your support always, whether it's watching the videos, listening to the podcast, commenting on the videos, liking them, sharing them, whatever you do, I appreciate it 100%. So thanks so much for that. Stay tuned for my preview and review of the Carlton game next week. That'll be on Facebook, so if you haven't followed on Facebook, please do, and then you get all the live notifications there, and everything will obviously be filtered through all the other social platforms that I'm on as well. But until then, guys, have a great weekend, and go you mighty Sainers.